Hello, and welcome to another edition of Mike Hagan and the Strength Team podcast. And here I am in Missoula, Montana, with crutches on, with a injury. As you can see, 2 weeks ago we were in Eureka, Montana. Eureka, Montana had a great event that week, 67 Decisions for Christ. But I tell you what, it was a tough week because it was a last night and getting ready to set my brake up. Normally, I always make sure that my base is interlocked when it's the concrete that I'm standing on. And I went up and they set the stage up and I really didn't check out my base too well. So I went to stand upon the stack of concrete and this bricks, and on my second swing when I was coming down, the whole thing, I just did like the splits about 3 or 4 feet in the air and came down, and I broke my top part of your tibia, and it's called the tibia platform, and I put a fracture right up there going vertical. And it's, one thing, praise God, that it's didn't really hurt my cartilage that much or even tear any ligaments, but it is pretty well put me out of commission for a couple months. So for the next 6 to 8 weeks, Mike Hagan will be on crutches. But that's okay, because that's why they call us the Strength Team. And the Strength Team, of course, the following week I was supposed to be in Miami. We had Janet Abraham, we had Andy Gavin, we also had William Green, who went down and did a great job at Wayside Baptist Church. Tremendous crusade. Pastor Brandon Parks, the senior pastor there, and it was a great event. And you know what I was thinking about is the whole concept of the team, the strength teamwork, and that's what I kind of want to do today's podcast today. Because no matter what happens to Mike Hagan, I'm sitting up here with a broken leg, but I want you to know that Romans 8:28 says that God causes all things to work together for good if we love Him and if we're called according to His purpose. And so, even though that I'm in a position right now where I can't do much, sometimes that's where the Lord wants us to be. He wants to sit at His feet, listen to what He has to say, and really slow us down a little bit. God didn't cause this to happen. God doesn't cause bad things to happen to people, but He'll turn things around and He'll make it work for good. And so the whole concept with different teams, of course, this week we're in Miami doing one-night events at different churches, and then next week we're on to Arkansas and Louisiana. And I won't be with the team, but I'm still have an aspect of the team as the leader of the strength team. I coach and I mentor the members of the team. Of course, we have 3 senior pastors that are on the strength team, and that's one thing I love about our team is we have great leadership. Some of the guys, Andre Sims, Dr. Andre Sims, Warren Alfred, Greg Mead, some of the leaders, Andy Gavin, some of the guys are very solid in the team. Mark Rodriguez, my son-in-law, who manages things in the office. We have a solid team. And the acronym for team means team, the words T-E-A-M, is together, everyone achieves more. And that's what I kind of want to close out our podcast. Of course, today is the 10th of June today, that this podcast is coming out. And in 5 days, we're ending up our podcast, which is the 100 Partners in 100 Days, and the Matching Funds campaign to be able to raise finances and money for the schools that we've done this year. Just a report to give you that there's been, I think it's close to 1,100 school assemblies that we have done this year, and probably under 13, actually this year is even under 10% now, that were not sponsored this year, that we did not get funding from schools. And so what we've been doing in our crusades and our night program, and also what we've been doing talking a little bit on our podcast, is our campaign. So June 15th, this is what I want you to be part of the team. You don't have to get on a plane. You don't have to break a stack of bricks with your head. You don't have to run through 2x4s, but you can be a part of the team this week, and that is by writing a check to the strength team and help us to be able to offset some of these school assemblies and the funding. Some people who are businessmen, that it would be nothing for your business to give a $100 gift to sponsor one of the schools that we did this year. Some, maybe a mom or a dad give up a big night out, maybe of $100. My wife and I, believe in giving in our tithes in our local church, but a missionary from our church came from China. And we gave this missionary $100 because we believed in what they were doing. This guy was from China. He was doing a phenomenal work, feeding people. But I believe that in America today is our own Jerusalem, where we need to reach out and reach people like we do in these school assemblies. And I'm going to ask you to help out today. And so, my part of the team this week is limited for the next couple months. I'll be kind of sitting on the sidelines. I'll still be coaching. But I just want to say this. Listen, as the leader of the strength team, I want to ask for your help. And you probably got the newsletter that says, will you help me? Well, it's not just will you help me, it's will you help us in the great cause in what we're trying to do. And that is by reaching people. And sometimes we go to places where people don't have funding. There's schools that don't have finances. There are places we go to that they don't have the money to go to. But what we'll do is we'll go anyway. And we'll give it our best, and we trust the Lord. And this is part of me just asking you, as the leader of the strength team, I want to ask you, would you be a part of giving this week to save a life of a young person? Some of the stories that you hear every week on our Facebook account that comes out on Friday, a story that you're going to hear my story this week about my leg. But last week's story and the stories before that, young people that have tried to, 2 days before we were going to get there, tried to commit suicide. Some of the stories that you hear it just goes right to your heart. It's just like, wow, is there anything that I can do to help? Well, yes, you can. You could click where it says to the button, donate now, at the bottom of this podcast, and you can give a donation. Or what you can do is you can write a check in your family, write the Strength Team. We're a nonprofit 501c3 organization. And so this, there's different times of the year where we ask, to help us. And this is the time, I'm just saying, I'm going to ask you, my friends and family and people that watch this Strength Team and believe in us, I'm going to ask you to give and help us out in a substantial way, whatever the Lord speaks to your heart. So anyway, we're getting ready this way. We got the campaign that's going to end on the 15th, and then we go on to Louisiana, and then we're going to Daytona Beach. Lots of stuff going on. If you check our events page with the Strength Team, you can find out all that stuff that's happening. So God bless you, friend. And I just want to say this, is that, some send, some preach. Remember this, God rewards the same. It's not just us doing it, but you're helping us doing it financially. I appreciate your giving.